I think that what hasn't been mentioned is the fragility of the elite athlete mentally. Like we always talk about how mentally strong athletes are. No. There's a thin line, guys, between confidence and a guy wrecking that confidence. Jayson Tatum told us that when he tore up his Achilles, first thing he thought was, I'm done. It's over. Because there's that superhuman, there's that Superman complex that you have when you're playing at the peak of your power. And then when you almost lose that, or not almost lose that, when you do lose it, of course, now that confidence starts to get chipped away, which is why you haven't heard Jayson Tatum. He was alluding that, I could come back this season, but I'm not going to come back unless I'm ready. I will let everybody know when I'm ready. If he felt like he was 100%, he would have told us, I'm ready to go. And that's why I've been so objective to this. That's why if we are here, I'm rolling with it, but I don't particularly love it. I don't.
Jayson Tatum is expected to make his debut tonight, Chill, versus the Dallas Mavericks. And so just for people to give you some context, the Celtics are sitting at 41-21, and they've been able to do this with no Kristaps, no Jrue Holiday this year. Derek White and obviously Jaylen Brown have been the anchors of the team. They've traded out Anthony Simons for Vooch. I think Joe Mazzulla is probably running away with Coach of the Year. For me personally, Mitch Johnson was my preseason pick. I think he's a very close number 2. Then JB Bickerstaff fills out that last 3. But Chill, as you get ready to watch JT tonight, what are you expecting? Like, what are you actually looking for from JT as he makes his debut this season?
Well, I read the report, and I want to make sure that everybody's in understanding that he could go tonight. It's not definite that he's going, but he could go tonight. So I don't want to get my hopes up. But just in case he actually does play Swiper, what I'm looking for from a guy who hadn't played in as long as he's played and was the player that he was for as long as he was, I'm just looking for him to physically hold up. That's it. I'm not looking for the Jayson Tatum of old, the top 5 player that I said he was years ago, the guy who could just get to the rim, the guy who could knock down open shots, the guy who could finish around the rim, the distributor, the all-around great player that he was. I'm actually not looking for that guy. I'm just looking for him to physically hold up to the rigors of this time of the season. We got a lot of teams that are fighting for playoff position. We got a lot of teams that are fighting for things that are very important to them. Jayson Tatum is getting back into the fold with this Boston Celtic team that has real aspirations now. I don't think that there's anybody that expected them to be as good as they are right now. And now that you add Jayson Tatum back, I think that gives this team a boost. Now, what I'm hoping is that physically he can just stand up to the physicality that's going on in the NBA. If his body can handle, just from the short period, not the short period of time, I'm sorry, because an Achilles injury is about 8 to 10 months. If he can handle just the physicality and the rigor of the rest of the season, that's all I'm looking for. Damo, we can talk about his game later. I'm just looking to see if he can just hold up physically to what it is. And on top of all of that, Damo, I am objective to it. I've been objective to it for quite some time, but this is where we are, so let's do it. That's where I'm at with it.
My only hope when it comes to Mr. Tatum, because I've been very adamant about not liking the fact that he's coming back. Like, I get it. Way better situation than you thought you were going into, going into the season. Everyone thought wash year for the Pacers and Celtics, and the Celtics showed Jaylen Brown is just amazing. So they're still competitive, and I get it. You're in a position where you feel you can win. I just hope he's actually ready to go. I hope he's not rushing himself back. It's one thing to say a team's trying to rush a player back. I hope he's not rushing himself back. I'm with Chilltown. I hope he can just physically maintain, look well on the court. I have no expectations about his game. The conversation about him coming back to take the reins back, idiotic. A bunch of people that's never played a team sport in their life other than 2K. I'm not worried about that. I just want him to actually come back and not re-injure himself. That's it. I just want him to come back and actually be healthy and be ready to go. I don't want him to come back and he's 60% of Tatum. He's 65% of Tatum. Is one thing if it's rust. It's another thing if your body's not ready to go.
Yeah, so again, just for people to get a clarification here on what exactly Sham said, and it might just be helpful here for me to share this as well, but I think the language is important because Shams is indicating that for Tatum, he is on track to participate, But the language here is very specific. It says there's an expectation that Jayson Tatum will make his 2025-26 debut for the Boston Celtics on Friday night at TD Garden versus Dallas, sources tell ESPN. But Tatum has been described as ready to go and will inform the Celtics of a final decision over the next day. So what it feels like, you all, is that there is some uncertainty from even Tatum that he is going to be able and ready to play in this game. And I know, y'all, this is a part of our job is not speculation, but a part of our job is getting honest analysis, cogent analysis, as my friend Chris Broussard would say. But Chill, I keep thinking about Klay Thompson. Because remember when Klay, after he tried to recover from that first injury he had, he then playing 5-on-5 re-injured himself in another way. And some of this is when you have not been able to play at 100% speed for a while, and then you go out and you start hooping again, it could just be simple as like you've been overcompensating for a year.
Especially at that
you know what I mean? Like stuff can just happen. Like you just don't know. And so I am not nervous in that, and I'm not worried about the worst outcome for Tatum. But my biggest thing is I just want to make sure he has given himself enough runway to where he doesn't have to, run into another issue. Like I want him to be. The league is obviously better when Tatum is in it. Like the league is obviously better when Tatum's at the peak of his power. He's one of the best playoff players that we've had. He's one of the best regular season players that we've had in the NBA. And so a lot of this with him is just simple. I just want him to make sure that you don't feel like you owe it to the team to compromise yourself.
Absolutely.
And you know what I mean? You can just trust the process. We don't need you to act outside your body, Tatum. Like if you need a break, if you need rest, if you don't want to come back right now, then don't. And to me, it's interesting that it's still saying he's going to make a final decision about whether he's coming back within the day.
Which we haven't heard, by the way. And I don't think that I think that what hasn't been mentioned is the fragility of the elite athlete mentally. Like we always talk about how mentally strong athletes are. No. There's a thin line, guys, between confidence and a guy wrecking that confidence. Jayson Tatum told us that when he tore up his Achilles, first thing he thought was, I'm done. It's over. Because there's that superhuman, there's that Superman complex that you have when you're playing at the peak of your power. And then when you almost lose that, or not almost lose that, when you do lose it, of course, now that confidence starts to get chipped away, which is why you haven't heard Jayson Tatum. He was alluding that, I could come back this season, but I'm not going to come back unless I'm ready. I will let everybody know when I'm ready. If he felt like he was 100%, he would have told us, I'm ready to go. And that's why I've been so objective to this. That's why if we are here, I'm rolling with it, but I don't particularly love it. I don't.
I can't even roll with it. Just sit him. Like I'm under the belief of there's no reason to rush him back. Y'all have won. I will understand the sense of urgency. If they have failed twice in the finals, they haven't won, and it is literally do or die with this group, and you have to blow it up. Y'all have won. And in this season, Jaylen Brown has shown you he is amazing. The left hand jokes are gone. Who cares about his? We aren't talking about. He's elite now. He's looking elite now. This is the best case. When Tatum went down, no one expected this scenario for the Celtics. This is best case scenario. Sit that man.
Damo is making a great point that I think that Jaylen Brown has been able to carry very well this year. I have grown to have a different level. I already had respect. I've grown to have a different level of respect, Damo, for Joe Mazzulla. For him to get this out of this team, to get a 40-20 record out of this roster, yeah, it's incredible. Like it's incredible. Like he's done a fabulous job this year. Ox, we're currently discussing the probability that Jayson Tatum is going to return tonight. Some of the things that you're looking forward to, as the title card said.
Right. Yeah, I've been listening. I'm starting to get a little confused about this whole thing now, because now it's like, is he playing or not? Like, Shams, what's going on? Could you just stop? Like, if you don't know what's going on, Shams, stop reporting on it. You know what I mean? Like, and another thing too, if there is some uncertainty, then he doesn't need to play.
Which it obviously is, Ox. It obviously,
you know what
is.
I mean? Like, if
we're being honest,
but that's the thing though, Chill. I don't know if it's obvious that there is uncertainty with the Celtics, or if Shams is just being thirsty, trying to report stuff too early. I don't know which one is going on. And these guys are known for that. Shams is known for that. Woj used to did it a little bit. You know, they are known for wanting to just break a story. You know what I mean? Like this, you know. So I don't know what's necessarily going on there, but as far as like best case scenario goes, if he's ready to play, I mean, like we know he's an athlete, bro. He's young. He wants to get out there. He looks at this team as, you know, oh, we're the second seed. We got another shot. I can come help my brothers get a ring. So I don't know. I mean, we've been talking about this so much that at this point, like, get on the court or don't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
How long has this
stop
process been
reporting
going
on
on?
it.
In your
What
estimation,
talking about him coming back has been going on for like 3 months.
When did what I'm saying is when did we first see him? If I'm not mistaken, I mean I don't remember, but when did we first see him talk about going down to the G League and working out with those guys?
We've been seeing videos of him working out for like 3 months now.
Those.
You know what I'm saying? We've been seeing that, the G League thing, you know, like last month and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, so I mean, my thing is if he's playing though, if he's been playing 5-on-5, been playing, you know, it's not like they're just doing walkthroughs. If
Right.
you know, that's my thing. They're not gonna send Jayson Tatum out there without him playing some high intensity basketball. You know what I mean? So I'm not if they do send him out there, I'm not worried about it. Like I'm positive that they're not gonna. How much money they've invested in Jayson Tatum, how important he is to the franchise. I'm positive they're not going to send him out there unless they think he's good. You know what I'm saying? Unless he thinks he's good. And so
honestly, I could go in a.
So yeah, so I'm not too concerned about that, y'all.
Right. But I feel like I feel like with him, right? I feel like with Jayson Tatum, there is a level of uncertainty because, like, when we see guys get injured, whether it's a season-ending injury or it's an injury that they're coming back from where they had some time off, we see them when they're getting ramped up. You know, we hear the confidence in them. We hear, yo, I'm getting close. I'm ready. I'll be ready to go soon. Like, the Celtics have been very hush about, like, in terms of him, in terms of confidence. Yes, he could make his debut. They target him at some point during the season, but I haven't really heard much from him in terms of how he feels. And to be honest with you, I just don't think that he's as confident in physically. I just don't think he's as confident in himself physically, because if he was, I think he would have said something.
Well, why would you assume that though? Why would you assume that? That's my only thing. Because some people aren't, you know, speaking to the media that much. Like I think if a guy
for Tatum in the short.
Damn. I think if a guy is, you know what I'm saying, working out as much as he's been working out, he's been putting, you know, videos of him in the gym, I would assume he has to be confident in himself. You know what I mean? I have the opposite assumption of how Jayson Tatum is feeling right now. Although, like we said already, he hasn't been. At least if he has done interviews speaking on it, I haven't heard him. Maybe I'm not as tapped in as y'all are on you know, Jayson Tatum and where I can find him speaking on the situation. But chill, I gotta say, for a guy to be in that gym, you know what I'm saying, doing some of the workouts I saw him doing months ago. You know what I mean? And then I would assume Jayson Tatum for himself is ready to go.
Well, just because I'm back in the gym does not mean that I'm confident about what I got going on. Because again, I have not been in like real contact in real games. Like, you can't really prepare for that unless you've actually been on the floor. That's why I wanted him to go down. To be honest with you, I wanted him to go down to the G League and get some real action to see exactly where we were. Right. Let's see where we are and how long this process is going to take. Because again, this isn't an ankle injury or anything like that. Right. This is a season-ending injury, and I haven't played meaningful, high-intensity basketball on any level for almost a year.
I think Jayson Tatum should have been out, like Damo said. I've been on that train all season. I just don't understand why Jayson Tatum is rushing back to play basketball. But here's the difference of opinion that I have from most. I think most people think that with Jayson Tatum, the Celtics are like a championship contender, which from the essence of the word, I guess, to me, I still wouldn't even have them as the favorites to come out the East. I don't think they're a better team than the Knicks still with Jayson Tatum with this roster, right? We saw him last year with a better team lose to the Knicks. Like the supporting cast on the Celtics last season, in my opinion, was better than the supporting cast that they have this year. So I don't understand the logic of, oh, well, we have Jayson Tatum back. Now we're the favorites in the East when they're a worse team, in my opinion. So I wouldn't have him back. I think Damo and everybody else that was saying to sit out the entirety of the season was right. Again, to Chill's point, we know that Jayson Tatum has been playing the most basketball in the league since he's got in the league. He's played the most minutes, played, I'm pretty sure, like the most playoff games. I just don't understand why he's rushing back.
That's a fact.
That's what it is.
That is a fact.
I don't know why y'all keep using the term rush though. Like, if he's healthy,
reason why
he's
we
not
keep-
rushing. If he's healthy and he's cleared, he's not rushing. He's just coming back on
that's
the
the-
timeline. That's
I think
like,
that's
you know
the
what I'm saying,
problem.
Chill?
I
Well,
think that's the problem,
I
though.
mean, if I break my wrist and they say, okay, I'm out, you're supposed to be out for 8 weeks, or the recovery is 7 weeks, and if I come back in 7 weeks, I'm not rushing. I'm back on the timeline.
100%.
If he tears his Achilles and they say, hey, it's a 10-month recovery, and he comes back in 10 months, that's not rushing.
No.
That's coming back on the timeline.
I think the wrist injury is way different because, I mean, when you're talking about a wrist injury, I mean, is that career ending more than
That's not the point.
You're snapping your Achilles? Because when we're talking about my wrist, okay, I might not be able to shoot the basketball up because that's what happened with Isaiah Thomas in '91. Isaiah Thomas, he missed almost 40 games because he had wrist surgery, but he was able to come back eventually. But if I can't run like I used to, if I can't hop like I used to, if my game is predicated, which Jayson Tatum's game is predicated a lot on athleticism, if I can't do that, like that takes away a lot of my game. On top of that, I'm also risking injuring other things in my lower extremities because I'm going to be overcompensating. I think that happened to KD when he came back to Brooklyn. He ended up having a hamstring issue after he tore his Achilles.
But here's also the question, Chill. And do you think like superstars that get hurt is very much contingent on, okay, is the team trash? Because then we all of a sudden, then Damo, there's no problem with the stars sitting out all year. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Case in point, the Golden State Warriors. When Steph went down at the beginning of the season, when he like broke his wrist or broke his hand or whatever,
done for the season,
right? They shut him down.
They were tanking for Wiseman.
But what I'm saying is, if they were good, all of a sudden it would have been okay to bring Steph back. I'm just saying, like, I think with an injury like an Achilles injury.
I know what he's talking about. I know what Real Talk is talking about.
Yeah, I'm saying
if the
like,
Celtics were Indiana, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
We wouldn't even be having this conversation.
But we don't know that.
No, we wouldn't be.
We don't know that.
What? I don't think
this
so.
This is assumption.
If the Pacers were the worst team in the league,
if the Boston Celtics were at the bottom of the league, if they were Utah, if they were New Orleans, you think we'd be having a conversation about
hold on, because
even if that's true, that doesn't mean he
wouldn't
wouldn't be ready in March.
Right, and that's the first thing with March. That's the first thing. The second thing is, why not? Maybe we would, because you know what you get then? You get unconsequential basketball. You get Jayson Tatum able to come back and play, and it don't really matter. You're just coming back to get your minutes, get your reps in. You don't have. There's, as a matter of fact, there's even less pressure in that scenario. If you come back in your team is at the bottom of the East. Because Jayson Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton are the same person. And Tyrese Halliburton hurt his Tyrese Halliburton hurt his. But no, Tyrese Halliburton hurt his in the, after Jayson Tatum. Jayson Tatum hurt his.
Only like a month.
No, it wasn't that long.
A month.
It was less than
Okay, so let's say Halliburton comes
time.
back a month after Tatum. He's gonna play one game in the regular season, and then the season's done.
In April.
What about
But
Dame?
a month.
What about
the season ends like
Damian Lillard is my age.
Dame said he wasn't playing the whole year. Once again, the moment he got.
Either way, but hold on. Either way,
That doesn't mean that he's not capable of playing.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I don't think that's what the conversation is, honestly.
Right. But I want to get to the finish this point because the point first, to like I was saying about him, if he played for the Pacers or any team, any weak ass team you could think of, the Kings, the Pacers, the
Utah,
Wizards, anybody, regardless. If he came back on one of those teams, it would be unconsequential, and it really wouldn't matter. If he came back, there would be no pressure. All the things you guys were talking about yesterday, giving him grace. All the things you guys are talking about haters saying that he's a bum now and he's washed now. He wouldn't have to worry about any of that. Right. So therefore, I think that would be even a more comfortable position for him to come back into. But my main thing about it, Chill, was what you were saying about the whole risk compared to Achilles thing is it's not about the injury, it's about the recovery time. Sure. If that was the case, then they would say you need 14 months to come back from your Achilles then. You know what I mean? Because the recovery time is the time when the doctors give you to be able to come back and play your sport. Right. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that sport is, if the doctor says it's going to take you 9 months to recover, that means you're probably healed in about 6 months. It's an 8 to 10. But you got about 6 months, and then you're going through PT, you're going through all the recovery stuff, you're ramping yourself back up, and by 10 months you're ready to go. And for a wrist, like I'm saying, if it is a 7 week, that means probably about 4 weeks. You're probably good. Those next 3 weeks. You're doing your PT, getting back, getting your wrist moving, and yes, it's still going to be a little stiff. You can't snap it the same on your jump shot for a little while, and so that's going to be the same with the Achilles. You got that time to get back. It's probably a couple months. You're still not going to. It still might feel a little stiff. It still might have some things, but you're recovered. So that's my only thing.
If the Celtics were bad, and they would have sat Tatum the whole year, then them being good shouldn't change up the process of bringing Jayson Tatum back. Them being good should not accelerate anything that they're doing with Jayson Tatum. So, in my opinion, you look at every other team that's dealing with a player that has had a career-altering injury this season or last, they sat them down, period. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL. They haven't brought him back at all. I'm sure
no talk of him coming back, by the way.
Right now.
No talk of him coming back.
Well, no, in December there definitely was talk. They just
I'm talking about now. But talking about now.
Yeah, he's already confirmed to be out for the year. He's confirmed.
But that's what I'm. So again, if the Celtics being good shouldn't accelerate anything they're doing with.
It's not accelerating it. I would argue them being bad decelerates the process. I could argue the exact opposite.
Why would it decelerate it, Mars?
Because if an Achilles is a 10 month, 12-month recovery time,
and
we're gonna say, okay, we suck. So instead, we're gonna hold him out for 16 months. Right. That's decelerating the process.
Actually, it's not.
The Celtics being bad this year doesn't mean Jayson Tatum wouldn't be ready in March. It just means we don't actually need him because there's nothing to play for. But that doesn't mean he's physically not capable to go in April.
That also doesn't.
That's not what that means, which means the process is being decelerated.
No,
because we have no urgency to play him.
Well,
that's exactly what that means.
Actually, it doesn't, Mars, because what you just said.
It does.
You just said, and I do disagree with you because you just said it decelerates the process of them getting him back on the court. But then you also just told me that doesn't mean he's not physically able. I'm still physically able. They just holding me out. I'm still able to play though. But I'm not decelerating the process.
You are by him not playing. That means you're decelerating his.
No, because I'm still working out.
You're decelerating. If Real Talk can say that the Celtics being good is accelerating his comeback by bringing him back this year instead of next year, I'm saying the Celtics being bad and him not playing is just decelerating the comeback because that doesn't mean he's not physically capable of playing this year. Just because he doesn't play this year doesn't mean he physically couldn't. It just means there's no reason for him to play. So Kevin Durant, and I'm going to Theo Pinson, shout out to Baha. Theo Pinson said the year KD missed, he was playing 5-on-5, he was playing, he could have come back that year. Based on how he was playing, he could have, but he didn't. That doesn't mean he was incapable of playing. That means he didn't come back because the Nets weren't playing for anything.
Right.
So he didn't need to come back. But that doesn't mean the process was accelerated if he came back that year.
Right.
With an Achilles injury, would you rather be too cautious or too audacious? Which one?
I would definitely like to be more.
I think
whichever one gets me a championship.
Now that's a different thing.
It is a different argument.
But coming back in 10 months, coming back in a reasonable 10 months is a reasonable time frame for an Achilles. Like it's not audacious. Oh my God, unfathomable. Dominique Wilkins came back in about 10 months. Sure. Wesley Matthews came back in 7 months. Kevin Durant took an extra long time, and part of that is because the season ended at a different time than it normally would. Kevin Durant tore his Achilles in June. Normally, he would have been back in October the next year. If he missed the whole of the next season, he would have been back in October. But the next season didn't start until December. So he came back in 18 months. He really would have come back in 16. But he tore his Achilles in June, same way as Tyrese Halliburton did. So even if they take 10 months like Tatum did, the moment they come back, the regular season is over anyway. So they just tore their Achilles at a different time frame. Dame is the one you could reference and be like, okay, well, Dame tore his Achilles, I think, before Jayson Tatum did. So he could maybe he could have come back this year, but
April,
also he's an older body.
Yeah.
He's my age.
He also said the moment he tore his Achilles, not the moment, but like pretty much like within
he wasn't playing the
that
next
sphere,
season.
he already ruled himself out for the next year.
Correct.
So he was already operating on his rehab timeline for next season. Jayson Tatum was operating on his rehab timeline for this season. That doesn't mean that it's impossible for him to come back or he's being too risky or whatever, because he's still operating within the time frame of a regular Achilles. He's just ramping up for this year in a way that Dame wasn't.
I think that
doesn't mean he's being more risky or whatever.
I just think that I think where the divide
preparing
is
for this year.
Really quickly, real talk. I think that where the divide is with me and you, Ox. I mean, me and you, Mars, is that the idea of me decelerating the process. I'm still working to get back. Now, if I'm working to get back, and you decide, okay, we're gonna sit you out for the rest of it. We're gonna sit you out for the rest of the season because we really don't have anything to play for. I'm still working to get back. That doesn't stop everything that I'm doing. I'm still in the gym every day. I'm still doing everything that I'm supposed to do to get back. I'm not slowing myself down, i.e., decelerating the process. No, I'm not.
I'm not saying Tatum's decelerating. I'm saying Boston would be decelerating.
But if they're so what they're decelerating is they're decelerating the go date.
Playing.
The go date.
Yes.
So they're decelerating the go date. What we're not decelerating is the process. Because I'm still working out.
Yeah,
I'm still in the gym. I'm still working my ass off. I'm still lifting weights. I'm still trying to get my body physically able to perform. And to Real Talk's point, if these other teams, if these other teams had players, like for example, if they had Dame not said anything, to your point, Mars, had Dame not said anything, and we never heard Dame say that he ruled himself out, where Portland is right now when they're in the playing tournament, do you think that we would hear rumblings that, Dame might be ready to go?
I don't know. I don't know.
So.
It depends on where he is in his process. Like, everyone's recovery process is different, but we know how all the reports say how Tatum's attacked the process. So we know he's been focusing. We haven't heard much from Dame, and that's because he already ruled himself out. But that doesn't mean that everyone recovers at different rates. Like Fred VanVleet tore his ACL after Kyrie, and he said like 2 days ago he hasn't ruled out coming back this year. And he said, and he tore his ACL maybe like 5 months after Kyrie did it.
Yeah, it was right before the season started. It was right before the season.
Everyone recovers at different rates. That doesn't mean that one's rushing and one's not rushing. It means everyone recovers at different times and everyone's playing a different thing. An ACL can be recovered from in 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. And Achilles can be recovered in 7 months, 10 months, 12 months, 16 months. Like, everyone recovers at different rates and everyone isn't on the exact same timeline. Tatum is on a regular Achilles timeline. 10 months is a regular Achilles timeline. But because KD took 18, everyone now expects you to miss a whole year every time. And that's not always the case.
I think the main reason why we think that, I think the main reason why that's been happening is because more times than not, when a guy tears his Achilles, it's one of the main guys. And if it's one of the main guys, the team isn't that good the next season.
Exactly,
So because the team isn't that good, we hold guys out the entire season to let them get ready for next season. Well, now this team actually is a lot better than what we thought they were. And I'm going to pass the mic to you, Damo. But this team is a lot better than what we thought that they were going to be. And to now add Jayson Tatum back to this in a timely fashion means that, maybe we can win. Are we really rushing him, though? Or are we really rushing him? Or is this right in the timeline? I personally don't think that, listening to him talk, I don't think that he's ready.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the chat throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.